Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Welcome back to Pedro DoorDash Santiago, Mr.BetonYou, the live show that we do every Sunday, the best live in the gig economy. Hope you guys are doing well. Listen, did you see the description? Did you see what we're going to talk about tonight? Some of you did, maybe some of you didn't. I have a lot on my mind. I'm going to be sharing some thoughts as to what I think is really happening, why I've seen some questionable opinions, and why I think a lot of us, sometimes myself included, man, I'm making the same videos, talking about the same stuff, right? But not realizing the type of work I'm doing is why that is the case. We're going to get into that tonight. Strap your buckle on your seat, and get ready for a bumpy ride, because I think it's going to be bumpy for some of y'all. But listen, my role in the gig economy is to always keep it 100, always speak my mind, my truth, and never pander. I don't hand out pacifiers on this channel. We keep it real 100% of the time, and we're going to do that tonight. So appreciate everybody for being in here. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day to my pops, man. Saw him today. He is an OG, the original Pedro, my hero. If I could be half the man he is, I would be good with that. So shout out to him. Shout out to all the dads in the chat. Hope you guys get to do whatever you want to do today. In my opinion, Father's Day should be a day that you should be able to do whatever you want, whether that means barbecuing for your family, which I think the average males, that's what you're going to do. You're going to barbecue for your family, right? Or if it means hanging out with your kids in a different way, whatever it is. I hope you had a great Father's Day. Bud Soda, what up? Jeff, welcome to the membership level. Bud Soda, member for 17 months. What's up? Been a long while. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Absolutely. Shout out to all the dads in the chat. Daniel, Terry, Sammy, Jody, Darren. I see. Oh, what? Qualia, what's up? Dasher, Joseph, Dasher. Man, am I behind? Dasher, Josiah? Joseph, I think that's right. Gig Wars Official, Dashing Across America. What's up? Scott, Pit Star Production. What up? Luann Nuwajan, Luann Win. I believe that's how you say it. I'm Nefarious. What's up? All right. Savvy Shopper Delivers. Holly, what up? All right. Let me breathe. Because y'all know me, man. I always make videos, and I don't worry about what people are going to think. I speak my mind. JP, what up? And I hope we can learn from it. And I'm not always going to say things that are correct. I'm human. I'm flawed. I'm going to make mistakes. It's part of being on YouTube. You put your face and your opinions out there. You leave yourself up to debate and opinion, which is fantastic. I love it. Bring it. But tonight, what we got wrong about the gig economy, okay? Let me go ahead and look at this again. Exactly how I worded it was DoorDash driver live. What is really going on with DoorDash and the gig economy? I'm going to break it down for you guys tonight, okay? Let's go ahead and get back in there. Okay. Tonight's topics, real quick, run them down for you guys. The new DoorDash programs, are they bad? Question mark. DoorDash Deactivations, the real truth behind what is happening. Everybody and their mom is talking about deactivations. People get deactivated all the time on DoorDash. Happens all the time. I'm not sure why we're seeing an uptick in us talking about it. I'll have an opinion on that. We are not independent contractors, exclamation point. Prove me wrong. We talk about IC work. We talk about this, every couple of weeks or so we bring up this topic because I think it's important. Over 2,000 of you guys voted on a post I put the other day. I said, what are we, independent contractors, subcontractors, or misclassified? Over 60% of you said you're an independent contractor. You are wrong. I said what I said. We'll talk about that tonight. Prove me wrong. Now, take the tax purposes out of it, because that's the only argument that we have, right? And listen, I'm somebody that has said I'm an independent contractor because I was told that by other people, and I really didn't feel like I had enough knowledge and information of the inner workings of it. And as I'm working and as I'm doing things and as I'm seeing things, we're not independent contractors. We're just not. I really believe that. Prove me wrong. Tonight's your night to come on a StreamYard and tell me why we are an independent. Why am I an independent contractor? Fourth topic, the race to the bottom is near ? Some people say this kind of work is the race to the bottom, race to the bottom, race to the bottom. A lot of people don't like when people say that, right? I think when I say things, I'm speaking in general terms. I'm speaking for the majority of us, right? That's why when I say we shouldn't do this long term, if this is 100% of your income, I stand by that wholeheartedly, okay? For a very small percentage of you guys, maybe 1% of less that do this, you could do this forever. You make money doing nothing else, and you'll be absolutely fine. I can't speak to those individuals. I need to speak to other people so that they can figure out how to do this. They can level up, and they can have more financial security. So that's some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Hit the thumbs up. I promise to give you guys a very lively show. Now, what is really going on with DoorDash? A lot of changes. I can't remember. I've been on YouTube for 2.5 years now. Okay. I cannot remember the last time we've had basically a 2 or 3 month span here where DoorDash has changed so many different things. New programs, new pilot tests, some good stuff, some bad stuff. I just can't remember it. DoorDash is giving us a lot to talk about, right? I'm going to tell you why right now. It's going to be very short, sweet, and simple before we get to the other topics. Everything that DoorDash does is for their benefit, clearly. Billion-dollar businesses, that's how they run their operation, all of them. They're looking at their bottom line. And they might sometimes throw some things at our way that might seem like they're good for us. But basically, it's a cost-effective analysis saying, if we do this for our employees, independent contractors, whatever it is, right? Our people, our laborers, our workers, what's the return on that investment for us? Now, DoorDash might do some of that. But at the end of the day, everything they do is because they realize most people that do this work do it very part-time for a very limited amount of time. So all the new programs that we see that are pissing all these dinosaurs off, all these old school drivers are so mad and butthurt, it's because they're not realizing that they are the minority. DoorDash works on the majority of drivers. Now, a lot of you guys will say DoorDash is mistreating people, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to argue with that. I think they definitely do some shady business practices. They absolutely do it. But we have to deal in the reality versus the emotion. The reality is everything that they do, most Dashers don't even hear about it, don't care about it, and aren't affected by it. That's why what they do can be highly effective for their business model and their consumers. Acceptance rate has never been higher in DoorDash as a total. It's just never been higher on average. And that's good business for consumers and DoorDash. And for some drivers, it's good. For some drivers, it's not good, depending on your market and how you work and how much you give DoorDash your time. Everything DoorDash is doing, okay, is based on their business model. We're not employees. They don't want us to be employees, regardless of what legislation gets passed, whatever. And they know that we do this a very little bit, very small amount of time. So my question to you guys is, in knowing what DoorDash is doing, whether you like programs, you like the diamond, I'm independent, they got to show me this, they got to do that. They don't have to do any of those things technically. They don't. They do not owe us much. If I'm being honest and transparent, I might lose some of you guys here, and I'm okay because I have to be myself. I'm good with that. I'm sick and fucking tired of seeing one day we're talking about we're independent contractors, freedom and flexibility. I love that I don't have to schedule. I don't have a boss. I had a W-2. I'm never happier. I get to work when I want. Then the next day, that same individual or individuals is mad that the app has a program now and that this happens and that this happens. We cannot have both. It makes us look weak as drivers. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. I think DoorDash can do a lot of things to better their app. Less glitches, things like that. Maybe better support agents. All those things could be better, right? Transparency, I think we need that. I think if they just showed us all the information, that's really all I would really need from DoorDash. I don't need legislation on a government level. I don't need them to do anything else besides just maybe make your app a little more sound on the technology side and the software side with less glitches. and just show me what we're going to get paid. That's it. Everything else, I don't about programs and this and that. It's all good with me. Call me a shill, call me what you want. But the second I started looking at DoorDash a little bit differently, mostly being less emotional about it, more tactical, right? Working it a little bit less and figuring out how to make money doing something else, I've been mostly overall more happy and still having good success with DoorDash. When will you level up your mind? Stop acting like an employee, but calling yourself an independent contractor. That's the topic for tonight. I know I just spewed a lot to you guys. I have to keep it real because I'm just like at this point, I see things and I hear things and things are sent to me. And it's like, we're living in two different worlds. We want to live in the IC world, even though we're not independent contractors. We want to live in that world one day, but the next day we want to hop in the employee world and we expect DoorDash to do things for us. It absolutely makes no fucking goddamn sense. Somebody come on here tonight and prove me wrong. I don't get it. We have to do better. I think if anything, we are hurting ourselves by playing victims and acting like we expect everything from them, but we're not taking personal responsibility. I really don't get it, right? I just don't. I don't get it. It's confusing to me. And I don't have to have all the answers. I don't need to know everything. I'm not the smartest individual, but I mean, it's absurd. We can't live in both worlds, right? We just can't. We just can't. And I think I spent a lot of time and energy in the beginning of this channel, and even really the first, we'll call it year and a half of this channel, being kind of negative, making videos because I was raw, passionate, I was emotional. I was new to the DoorDash. I was like, man, this is kind of crazy and this is kind of cool, but this is crazy. Why are they doing this? The moment I stopped caring as much, the experience with the apps and everything else around me really started to change. Some of y'all might not get that, but that's about as real as I can get. Let me get into the comments. I'm sure some of y'all are, oh my God, hashtag DoorDash shill. He sold out. How much is DoorDash paying him? Think what you want. It's really good for the engagement. Appreciate y'all for being here. All right. Levi, what up? What up? Scott, what up? What up? Leonard, honestly, it's a point of view. DoorDash might seem shady to some, but if you sit in their seats and view it from their perspective, it's business to get orders delivered. It's not rocket science. Leonard, very, very, very well said. Sinful Toaster, I live outside the matrix, and boy, are there those still in it screwed. Yeah, true. Just schedule yourself the night before. You don't have to worry about Dash Now. Big Al, most people can do that. Some people have trouble getting on the schedule, but that could be market dependent. So if my AR is 70% or better, can I Dash Now still, or is that out of the window too? It depends. If you keep your AR, it depends. They're beta testing a lot of stuff, but it's hard to see. Long run on hour, not worth it. Until you folks stand up for your sake and boy city DoorDash for a week, you be on the losing end. Working for DoorDash is like going to a casino. You will always lose. Rob Fox, I cannot disagree with that comment anymore. Rob Fox's comment is a very typical victim-minded. If you do this, you're gonna lose all the time. It's a very it's a horrible comment. Got to call you out on that. Sorry, bro. That does not make any sense at all. Ooh, YouTube just went away. Hold on. That makes no sense. Let's see. Get back in here. I just try to make 300 a week part-time. That's all. So Stephen Kennedy says he's trying. That's the average person. 12 hours, $130 in Charlotte. I'm upset. David, yeah, that's not a great day, man. KC, what up, what up? Anybody else got offered $1 to take a picture of the menu? Yes, that's a thing. Yeah, what's up, Pedro for president? Definitely, I would not. Pedro, do you have any info about Dasher routes? You know what? I saw some things about that, but I have no information. I haven't looked into it. I don't even know if I've got an email about it. I did see some kind of post about that, though, but really, I don't know anything about it, so I can't speak on that. Jody, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Next to fast food work, DoorDash workers are what the elite consider bottom of the workforce barrel. Maybe. Rob Fox, definitely true. But if you think everybody that does DoorDash is like, what was your exact? It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right, though. Dashing Wombo, what's up? We need to call it self-employed more. That should give those that complain understand that they're supposed to look after themselves. Yeah, it's funny. We have a lot of people that cry and complain. I used to cry and complain a lot more. And every once in a while, you'll see me lose my shit on a live because I'm like, oh, I just delivered to somebody that I think is just, bleh. But then I get over it. Like, I think, my goal of this channel, even when I started, I always, since the first video, bet on you set goals one day at a time. And I really think mostly I've done a pretty good job of showing you how I live that and embody that every single day. Right. And I believe that if I was still out here just bashing DoorDash, they're the worst, and then still working for them, I mean, that would be a really weak channel to have. And I don't want us to be weak. I don't want us to be victims. I want us to level up our minds, realize the app is what it is. And if you think you're being taken advantage of, if you think these programs are blah, blah, you're not an independent contractor. So all I would say to those people is stop working at apps and then go try to do something great. If you want legislation and you want to fight for rights and stuff, do it. I can absolutely respect that. But don't keep working at apps the same way and expecting a different result. It's really weak. And I think that a lot of times the media portrays us as weak individuals. Content creators, we don't help that cause because we come on here and we talk about things we're not knowledgeable about, we don't understand, and we're just saying all these things, and I'm this and I'm that, but then this day I want to be this, but then that I want to do this. DoorDash, I don't want you to do anything for me, but you know what? I do want you to do this for me. Dude, I just can't anymore. It's getting like, it makes me nauseous to my stomach. It just does. So, hot take of the day, we are not independent contractors. I'm not saying I know what we are, but we are not that. In my opinion, come up on here tonight, prove me wrong. I'm going to share the link right now. It is what it is. Well, before I'm doing that, I do want to say this week was a pretty good week. Worked 3.5 days, made $700. Not bad. Didn't work this weekend, spent time with the family. Good week. Got a lot of things done for the conference. Just overall, a really good week because I control how I feel. I control the money I make. If you think DoorDash is controlling what you make, then obviously, and you're only working DoorDash, that is on you. Shame on you. I got to give y'all tough love sometimes. Like I have to. Too many other people are giving you pacifiers and patting you on the back. I'm going to tell you, you need to level up. You need to figure out what app is popping. We've been talking about this on this channel for 2 years. What are people willing to pay you to do in your market? Find out what that is and do that job. If it's not DoorDash and you're still working DoorDash, that's on you. That is not Tony's fault. It's not DoorDash's fault. It's not your customer's fault. We have to start taking personal responsibility. We have to. Otherwise, you can't call yourself independent. You can't do it. I'm sorry. Tough. I'm giving out tough love tonight. I just am. I have to sometimes. I literally, I have to do it. You're not an independent contractor. Let's talk about it. Let me share this link with you guys. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Yes, it is very tiring. All right, let me click on that. Let me click on this. I think we're better served as a community of Dashers. We have people like, well, I'm a community. We're a community. We're in it together. We are in it together. Okay. I believe that. But you can do more for yourself than any one individual or company or government can do for you. You have way more control over your movements and your money than you think you do. And if you don't think you do, then you're never going to level up. You're never going to get the things that you want. Okay. All right. And I know I've upset some people tonight by saying these things, but I always speak from my heart. And that's what we got tonight. And I'm just, I'm an independent contractor, but I want that. It doesn't make any logical sense to me. So somebody please come up and say, Pedro, you got it wrong. We are independent. DoorDash is this, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. All right. And that's weird to say because we hear all the independent contractor talk all the time. I'm going to stay in my own lane. Everybody else that does videos and drives can say we're independent, Pedro, or we're this. I'm going to make my own lane over here and say that we are not. And I'll give reasons as to why. And I'll give reasons as to how we need to really be moving if we're independent. I'm going to make my own independent self-employed lane over here. Let's see if anybody wants to join me. If everybody wants to stay on the other side, that's cool as well. But at some point, we have to start making more empowering videos, empowering content, challenging content, tough love content, real content, not just this woe is me, DoorDash is the worst company ever, DoorDash is trash, DoorDash is not. It's I know that's what people like, but man, it's like it's nauseating to me. It just is. Because then I make that video and then the next day I go on and turn the app on. Somebody tell me how that makes sense. Somebody tell me how that makes sense. Like it doesn't make any sense at all. If anything, I don't believe in striking like in a gig. That's just not my thing. Not for this line of work. I think in other ways of life and lines of work, it can be effective. I don't think overall what we've seen has really been that effective. But I will say this. I would rather stand with the individual that would strike and say, I'm not working DoorDash and Uber anymore, and I'm going to strike and go pick it. I agree more with that individual than I do the people that bitch and then work the app the same day. Let me share this StreamYard because I know somebody's going to come up here and chop my head off. And I'm good with that because this channel's for the people you can have your voice heard and disagree with me. And I am ready, willing, and able to participate in that conversation. Because at some point, we got to take the power back. And taking the power back does not mean calling yourself independent one day and then wanting legislation or government or DoorDash to do something for you. Logically, it doesn't make any sense. Let's take the heart and the emotion out. Let's think with our brains tonight. Let's see who's ready to do that with me. All right, so let me go ahead and put this in the chat for you guys. And you know what? I don't know everything. Maybe I'm completely off, right? So somebody can come and tell me that tonight. If you agree with my stance, please don't come on the show. I'm looking for somebody smarter than me to click the link and tell me that why you're an independent contractor and prove me wrong. That's what I want tonight. Somebody to come on, click the link. Let me pin it for you guys. Tell me why you are independent, why you expect DoorDash to do certain things for you, why you hate the programs, but then you work the app every single day. If you're coming on here to agree with me, I'm not interested. I want to learn something tonight. So I see Bud Soda's in here. Bud Soda, if you agree, I can't have you on the show. I'm looking for a balanced conversation. I don't think we are independent contractors. I have no problem with the programs they're putting in. I think I'll say this again. If you're a DoorDash driver with an 80 or 81% completion rate, I don't think you're a very good driver for DoorDash. You might have that because you multi-app, but DoorDash is going to put things in place to protect their business. You have a business, right? So you're also the same person that says you're an independent contractor. You have a business. That's why you make that business decision for yourself. We have to put on our big boy hats and realize, why is DoorDash and Uber and Instacart, because they all do the same thing, all of them. Why are they doing these things? Okay, how can I combat that? That's what we need to do. All right, it is pinned. I'm going to sit here patiently and wait. But I want somebody to come on here and disagree with me. So if I'm going to let some time to come in. If you're coming in, I want you to really give it to me and say, Pedro, no, I am an independent contractor. This is why. Pedro, I don't like the programs. I don't like the ratings. This is why. That's what I'm looking for tonight. So I'll give it a couple of minutes here. Ooh, Dash and Womble. I'm sorry you're in the hospital. I hope you're okay. D, I don't know what that means. Delivering with Ellen. What up? Some people love getting punished and they don't even know it. What up, Ricky? How you doing, man? Taqueen, this new AR reset is confusing. Ooh. I don't know about a reset. Mine wasn't reset. I was able to reset it, I think back last November. Maybe something happening in different markets. Come up and tell us about it. GigiCon mom, thank you. Happy belated Mother's Day to you. How you doing? I've had a great day. Bad legging. Ooh. Crazy. I see a lot of positives to the new DoorDash rewards program. Pit star, so do I, but a lot of people don't. I see more positives than negatives. That's just me. Call me what you want. I'm looking at things from a different perspective, and I want to bring that to you guys. So maybe for a few of you, you can be like, yeah, maybe I didn't think about that. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm looking at. So, Dizzy Onion, I got a violation for no contact delivery. I've gotten a few of those. saying I did not deliver when he is standing there to take it out of my hands. I had a couple the other night. Yeah. You're going to have those. You're going to have those contract violations. They suck. They really suck. The best you could do is film, video record, take a picture. If you're really worried about it, tell them I got to take a picture for the app. Take a picture if you're handing it to them, if you feel comfortable doing that. And then if they say something, they probably won't if you take a picture. But just tell them you need a picture for the app or you need a picture for your records. And that will protect you. But it's part of what we do. We're going to run into that kind of stuff. And it sucks, right? But figure out how to protect yourself. No jumpers trying to go on a panel. No jumpers trying to go on panel. No, there's a few people in here. Peter, do you mean only Dashers are not independent or basically all apps? Great question. When I'm saying that, I'm speaking of DoorDash, Uber, Instacart. I think there might be some other apps that are more maybe last mile, more courier based. It might be a little more icy, but I don't work those apps, so I can't speak to those apps. I'm talking about the big 3 or 4, the ones that we all like to talk about. I don't think we're independent contractors. I think we're a subcontractor. Technically, by the book, I think we're that. If you take the taxes part out, fuck the taxes for a minute. Okay. I know that's a big part. You got to pay tax. It is what it is. Forget about that. There's a lot of taxes is something people are really scared about all the time. And oh my God, what about taxes? If you do it the right way, it's not that big of a deal. I just need to say that, but that's probably a whole nother live I can do. Okay. Just not. A lot of people are worried about miles. I don't want to work. You get credit for those miles too. So that changes some things for a lot of people. Anyways, I'm talking about the big 3. The other ones I'm not sure about. I think we're more of a subcontractor, right? DoorDash, the merchant subcontracts us the contract they got from DoorDash when the customer placed the app. Or if the customer places the app on the Little Caesars website, okay, they're using us to fill that app because they don't have drivers. We're a subcontractor. We're not independent contractors. Just take the taxes is the only thing that makes us an independent contractor. And for some of y'all, you might say that's a big deal, Pedro. You're not wrong. I can mostly agree with that. But just take that out for a second. Take what the government is saying about it out for a second and logically use your brain, how the app works, what they show you, what they don't show you, all these things. I feel like we're more, it's a weird new kind of work. It's misclassified subcontractor. And on top is a sprinkle of independent contractor, like the little sprinkles on top of like an ice cream sundae. That is the icy part. That's the taxes. That's how I look at it. I could be wrong. It looks like I have some people in here that might tell me different. Please have a different opinion. So once again, for the panelists, I'm going to bring up, I don't think we're icy. I don't mind the programs. I don't mind the ratings. You tell me different. I see Bud Soda, Cowboy Courier, and Mark. Is it Jackson? Mark, I don't see a face. All I see is a wall, Jackson. So if I could see you before you come up, that would be fantastic because a lot of people like to come in here. There he is. Got it. I see you now. I can't tell. Okay, I see it. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to bring you guys up and put my headphones on. I'm ready to get beat up. Give it to me. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. Trust me. All right. So let's bring these guys up. Turn this off. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down. If you don't like what I'm saying, please give the video a thumbs down because I know some of you might not. And you can disagree, and I'm good with that. But either way, let YouTube know. Thumbs up, thumbs down, what you think I'm saying about the topics tonight. Brandon says go easy on Pedro. No. I don't think you're an independent contractor. I don't mind DoorDash's new programs, their test pilots. I don't mind any of them. Because if anything, I think it's going to make it better for a lot of Dashers in the long run. I really believe that. And I know I'm unpopular opinion, but it is what it is. Cray, what's up? All right, let's bring in Bud Soda. Bud Soda, are you ready? I can't see you, man. Okay. Bud Soda, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Cowboy Courier, can you hear me, brother? Cowboy Courier with us. Cowboy Courier is gone. All right, and then we have Mark. Mark, are you with us? Hello. Bud Soda, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear Mark. So, Mark, I'm going to remove you for a second, try to figure out your settings. Bud Soda, give it to me, man. What do you say, man?
You know I disagree with you. We're independent contractors. Now, are these apps? Okay, I'll agree with you there. Hell no, they're not. Subcontractor at best for the most of them. I mean, there's not a single gosh darn app that doesn't treat you kind of W-2-ish, and now DoorDash is tripling down on it. The app I felt treated you most like a W-2 was Spark, Walmart Spark.
Hold on.
Definitely.
I'm gonna try to bring in. Hold on. I'm gonna try to bring in Courier one more time. Cowboy, are you with us? Can't hear you, Cowboy. You're muted. Cowboy's having some issues.
Cowboy.
All right, go ahead, Buster. So you said we're independent, but that the apps are subcontractors. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, I manipulate the apps as much as I choose. You know, I'm Mr. Stack and Route over here, and I have to quadruple down. I have to really be risky now because I am not making very good money at all. I went from $3,000 a week, most weeks, $2,500 over three, to about $1,000, maybe $800 on a really bad week. Like yesterday, I didn't make $300 and I was out for 16 freaking hours. So yeah, that is pathetic.
Hold on, Buster. I got to stop you there. You said you worked 16 hours and you said you made $300?
Yeah. No, not even like 279. I think I made yesterday.
Okay. And what's wrong with that?
That is absolutely terrible.
Why is that terrible?
As independent contractors, we should be all doing 20 plus. Unless you're in a super rural region, and even my rural region, I was doing 20 plus when, it wasn't too oversaturated or it was like winter weather out. I stayed up home and I averaged around 25. So, I think it's like.
So what you're saying, if you're saying as independent contractors, we should all. So you're saying all DoorDash drivers should make $20 an hour. So you want legislation? That's what it sounds like to me.
No, hell no. That's the last thing I want.
That's the only way that would happen.
Yeah, no. That would ruin it because when you artificially raise the floor, the top comes down. Look what's happening in New York City. That is absolutely awful. Yeah, I lost a good app.
Then how could it be possible for every person that does this kind of work, if we're independent contractors, like you said, right? How could it be that we'd all make at least a certain amount of money? Isn't there levels to skill or market or ordering or how much when you work, when you don't work? How could it be that everybody should make that amount of money?
Well, I really feel that we can do better. Most of us are in enough markets to make 20 an hour if we multi-app. Now, you're going to do it single app alone? Heck no. But, I mean, I'm out here struggling. I made less than 15 an hour, which is less than minimum wage yesterday, which sucks hard. I sat around for a good 3 hours of that 16. So I'll do what I do, and I'm going to keep making what the best decisions are for myself, and I'm trying to push for sales. I may have an opportunity. It's not my first choice. It's probably like third string. Well, I need my foot in a door somewhere. So when that good opportunity comes up, hey, I got several months, 6 months, a year, whatever, in sales. So that way I can better myself. The long run, like you said, I need to think of the long run. I'm trying to. I am freaking bankrupt. I am 4 days late on my $800 rent. But them treating us with these.
I got to stop you. I got to stop you. And I say this with love. Okay. And I want everybody in the comments to be kind. Okay, listen. If you're making $3,000 a week,
no, I'm not.
And I thought you just said you were making $3,000.
Used to.
Oh, okay. So how much are you making?
About 800 to 1,200 max.
So you took like a huge pay cut.
Yeah, I took a really huge hit to my income because I left DoorDash. DoorDash is king in this market. I went to Philly. It's king in that market. I went to Albany. It's king in that market. Same for Utica, Rome. I've tried many different markets. The only one I haven't tried, I want to try is Pittsburgh, but I'm bankrupt. I can't do that. So, I've got to be out here every day. I'm going to take one day off, and I got to be out here every single day for 16 hours, no matter what. This is why I went out, and you guys yelled at me for it. I went out for the 20-something hours when the money was good. When the fish bite, I went out and fished. But the thing is, at the same time, these 50, 70% tiers, 50%, fine, whatever. I get a little extra reward for trying to stay busier during the weekdays. That's fine. But 70% is freaking ridiculous. We're independent contractors. We're not freaking W-2. I'd have to play ball because I need the money. but at the same time, they should not hold us to that standard. They're tripling down on that, and these apps wonder why the government is after their butts. That's
Well,
freaking
I'll say
why.
this.
They're treating us like freaking employees.
I'll say this. DoorDash isn't telling you, in order to be on the platform, to be able to dash, that you have to be at 50%.
Yeah, I know, but
they're not telling you that. So
Yeah.
they're not telling you that. And we see on
That's
YouTube
true.
every day dashers with 10, 20, 1%, 30% acceptance rates, and they're clocking in good money. So
Yeah.
DoorDash isn't telling you, hey, in order
Yeah.
to work this app, you have to do this. That's not what they're doing.
But to have anything of worthwhileness, they're telling you you have to. You know, LLP, you're not a thing unless you're 70%. You're second tier if you're 50%. So they're going to give what I call a lot of these drivers who don't give a crap. I saw 3 of them there today. They were all on earn by term. Earn by time in my market is crap unless you have to wait. The McDonald's system went down. They loved it because they're getting paid to sit and do nothing. Meanwhile, I'm out here trying to hustle. I'm trying to keep moving because that's the best way to make freaking money. So, I shouldn't have to sit here and, be treated like hold my hand. I'm going to be an employee. I get it. That's what the majority of dashers are. They take about everything. They want to just be simple and do it mindlessly. This is a business mindset kind of thing. Yeah, it's technically unskilled, but you can also call it skilled at the same time when it comes to a business mindset. If you do this full time, you multi-app and do any of those kind of things. So a lot of people think that, it's not a big deal. Sorry, Pedro, I disagree with you. I really think it's a big deal that basically they're kind of holding us to the wall and saying, here, do this or else. So, I'd have to take a $4 for 4 freaking miles just to keep a 70% freaking acceptance rate.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You just told yourself you didn't have to. You do not have to do that.
But DoorDash is basically telling me I have to play ball with them.
Okay.
To get something better on later down the road.
Okay. So then let me go against your argument. You said we're independent contractors, but then in the same sentence you're saying I have to do this. That's not an independent contractor. Think about what you're saying here for a second. Right? That's my whole argument. We're not independent contractors.
I get where you're coming from, brother, but we shouldn't have to do those kind of things. And no wonder why the freaking government's clamping down on their ass. I don't want that to happen. I'm sure most of the people in this audience don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen. But the fact is that they keep doing these kind of crap and they keep playing games. Uber's playing lots of games too. Let's not, play any games here. But the more shitty crap they do, the more they try to put these programs up, the more they're trying to hold our hand and treat us like W-2. So I don't think that should be a thing. Now, should it be get Top Dasher every once a month? No, maybe that needs to change. Once every 2 weeks is fine. It shouldn't be a daily requirement that you sit here and keep to have LOP. I mean, a lot of the dashers that are on suck. And I hear it from my restaurants, my stores every single day that all these new dashers are really, really terrible. I'm not saying every single one of them, but I'm saying a good majority of them.
Yeah.
And they want to be coddled, treated like a baby, and then they are not very professional to my very good, hardworking people. So it is what it is, but at the same time, they shouldn't treat us like we're employees. We're independent, not W-2. But like you said, the majority, they're coddling to them. They're coddling to them because of what everyone complains and whines and wants their hand held. The problem is that's the slippery slope. Once you do that, you're going to open up Pandora's box, and eventually that legislation will come in, and then all of a sudden you can't just decline whatever you want. If they're sending you $18 for the terrible McDonald's that you have to wait 25 to 40 minutes at every single time, well, guess what? That's what you're doing, because we won't have a choice in it anymore. So I think that people need to really think about it critically. So that's just my opinion on it. I could get Top Dasher, schedule out 6 days, and then the weekends I'd work I go right back down to under 50%. I'd be around 30 to 50. But that's how I'd work it if I were still on the platform. if I got back on tomorrow or 6 months from now when I can reapply because they basically wipe your slate clean.
So I'll say this to round out the combo. Appreciate you coming on too and sharing your thoughts. But I'm gonna leave you with this question. I want you to think about it as you're out there working. So I want you to be safe, right? But do you think, and it's just something I want you to think about, you don't have to answer. Do you think DoorDash expects us to work these apps as much as some of us work them? And don't you feel like a lot of what they're doing is just actually just looking at the normal type of dasher that they have and saying, okay, how do we do this so we can win and more dashers can win? I think a lot of us full timers, and I'm still kind of full time, I think we expect too much out of DoorDash. That's just what I think. And I believe that if we're saying we're independent in one hand, but then saying, well, I have to do this, I don't like that I have to do this, we have to start. And this is why I like to talk about these things, to challenge myself and you guys. We got to start thinking a little more like in the future, right? Like, okay, if DoorDash is doing these things, all right, let me try a different app, or maybe I need to go to a W-2. I mean, but Soda said you can't pay the rent. That sucks, man. I've been there. Trust me, right? But you're also the type of man that's like, hey, I'm not going to whine, complain. I don't want handouts, right? You've said those type of things. So we have to figure out, if we are putting ourselves in these positions to where we feel like we're running our car under the ground, I can't pay my rent, DoorDash is horrible, I can't make money, I got deactivated, that's on us. At what point do we not, as individuals in this country where the opportunities are endless, and I'll debate anybody about that, they're endless for most of us. Some of us might have our starting line a little different than others, but the opportunities are still there overall. I believe that 100%. We have to start taking that personal responsibility and adapting and evolving and figuring out how can we move differently. Because I think a lot of us are moving the same way we were in 2020 and 2021, and we're expecting things just to be the same. The pandemic is over. The pandemic's over. The money's not going to be the same for most of us. We have to realize that, and we got to adapt, man. We have to.
Yeah. But I realize at the same time, DoorDash is majority in this market. Maybe if I get an Uber Eats, I can sustain off this. But like if I don't get that phone call tomorrow, and I come in and they hire me, and I get my foot in the door, and I get my career path going, I gotta go get a pizza job or something. Because
listen, but what I would love.
Swallow my pride, and I gotta do what I gotta do to pay my bills because I take personal self-responsibility for my action.
Yes,
we could be. I'm a very on the rat and not have them overly mad at me. Yeah, I could probably have a little leeway here and there, but at the same time, if by next week I don't have that job, I gotta go do something else to just get me by for the meanwhile until that door opens for me. So taking personal responsibility is a big part of being independent, guys. Stop freaking being coddled. Yeah, okay, I'll be honest. I just sat here and whined and complained. But at the same time, I'm taking personal responsibility for myself.
Listen, you can whine and complain. I've done it more than anybody on YouTube. I whine and complain. I used to do more of it, but I still do it now. But once we get that out of our brain, then we have to figure out where do I go from there? And I think, Bud Soda, if I'm being from brother to brother, I think you'd be better served off at a W-2, bro. I do. Because think about the gig economy's done a lot for you. You've clearly made a lot of money. But something else is going on there, and the gig economy is not taking care of you right now. And when that happens, you got to figure out what's my next move. And I think that's where you're at now. And I would recommend, and it sounds like that's what you're doing, and you should do that.
Yeah, I don't want to take a step backwards in life and have to swallow my pride and take a retail or delivery job, which I absolutely freaking despise retail. But my experience is heavy in that. I'm good at it. If I have to, I gotta do what I gotta do to take care of myself. So taking personal responsibility and swallowing your pride once in a while comes with that territory, guys. So it is what it is, but at the same time, I want to be independent contractor still and still do these part-time because when I am off that W-2, I know I can go and take advantage because Sunday will definitely be a day I want off. And if I get a pizza delivery job, I want to work. Give me 16-hour Saturday. I want to work all day because I know I'm going to be busy. I'm going to make some tips off that.
I hear you. So, I got to listen. I got a couple people waiting. I'm going to bring them up. Hey, be safe, make your money, but hey, just keep adapting, man. And I know you feel like you're an independent contractor. I don't. You know, I am more, for me, I'm more like self-employed. I subcontract, I make some money with the gig apps on my time, and I'm done giving them my emotions for the most part. And I'm going to make the money. And if it starts drying up, I'll do something else, because that's what, to me, what a true IC is going to do, is we're going to evolve and change and adapt. And I think it seems like you're moving towards that, but looking at some other options. And I'm proud to hear that. I'm happy that you shared that with us tonight. So
when I got $3,500 in bills a month, you know, I've got to take some self-responsibility and take steps to get that money pumping in. So I think that as far as the apps are concerned, I work them as independent. Do they treat us as independent? Hell no. Hell no. Most of these apps are trying to manipulate us the other way. Manipulate the apps to let the apps manipulate you guys. All right? That's all I'll say. Peace out.
All right.
Have
Appreciate
a great night.
you, man.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Be safe. Thanks, Bud Soda. Man, all right. I see Cowboy Courier's here. Maybe he's got his stuff. DDIS, I see you. I'm going to bring you up. You know, it pains my heart to see somebody work as hard as Bud Soda. I think we can all agree. Most of you guys know Bud Soda. Really hard-working guy. Most of the time when he comes on streams and other people's streams, he's out there hustling, grinding. And the man's behind on his rent. I think a lot of us can relate on that. It sucks, right? Everybody's situation is different, right? But at some point, yeah, like he said, you got to swallow your pride and, hey, I like being an independent DoorDash driver, whatever we call ourselves, but it's not paying his bills. It's not paying his bills. So you got to stop, right? And he got deactivated from Spark and DoorDash, right? So like, this work is not sustainable long-term for most of you. Pedro, Paul Revere, DoorDash Santiago. Let me say it one more time. This type of work, the food delivery work, courier work, is not sustainable long time as 100% of your income. Please, when you hit your bed at night and hit the pillow on your, put your head on the pillow, think about that. Personalize that for what it means to you. If you're making 100% of your money doing this, it will not last long term. I mean, it will not. Some of you, it might, but I'm talking to the masses. Okay. If all of us wanted to, it's not sustainable long term. You have to have other ways to make money. And the people that say, well, you know, I'll just buy a new car. Or if I put all the miles on, I'll just do that. I'll do this. I don't mind working 7 days a week. Hey, you ever heard of a channel called Uber Lyft Phoenix? OG. Shout out to Aaron. OG. Making videos, his pay weeks, all this stuff. And I kept telling him, it's not long-term. It's not long-term. He's not even making content anymore. He's not even working the apps. He took his vacation early because the money dried up. And this dude was banking $2K a week. OG, much respect to him, Uber Lyft Phoenix. Shout him out. Go check his channels out. We're going to start seeing this, okay? In this type of work, a lot of us got into it. Now, as the pandemic and maybe before, but we're seeing things start to change. This is not a sustainable income long-term. The apps know that. So if anything, they might prey on that because they know that their overturn, like their turnover is going to be extremely high, and new dashers will come and go. Thanks for the super chat. I'm going to read this, Autobahn. This is not sustainable. And a lot of you guys don't like when I say it. I'm okay with that. I gotta speak my opinion in my mind. Autobahn, what up? Reminder, also certified air conditioning types make 70 plus an hour in some markets. And some of these apps will help pay tuition to get there. We aren't that, which is fine. We are something else. Yeah. Get a trade, y'all. Listen. I am going to be an advocate for the gig economy, working it full-time, working towards a goal, or part-time, paying off a goal or doing whatever. But if you're coming into this game thinking, yeah, I just saw Pedro, he made $2,000 that week on that challenge, or hey, yeah, this guy says he makes $1,000 a week and there's this great thumbnail of this video. Oh my God, I can make $53,000 a week. Get the fuck out of here. That's not normal. However many YouTube videos you can watch, that is not the normal life of a gig economy driver. Use it as a way to make some money and fold yourself into other opportunities, or a W-2, or maybe you get a van like Gig Geezer, OG Gig Geezer. Shout out to him. And you have a plan and you level up and you get a van and you're doing all these great runs, and that's cool. Most people won't do that, but that's an opportunity. He saw that DoorDash and Uber Eats weren't going to pay his bills full time, sustainable. So he got his own business. That's what we should be working towards. That's the mindset I think we should have. And not all of us will have it or in a position to have it now, but at some point we have to figure out how to level that up, because DoorDash is not your daddy. It's Father's Day, right? It's not your daddy. He ain't going to do anything for you. It's an app. You turn it on, you turn it off. If you don't like it, $2 and $3 orders, decline, wait for the next one. That's it. It's as simple as that. And if anything, the power that we have is we just don't ever take the $2 and $3 orders. We don't ever take them. We just don't take it. Don't take it. And eventually it'll be maybe $5 or $6 for the next driver. It's worth their time. We've all been there. Hey, oh my God, this $6 for 2 miles. I'll take it. You drop it off. Boop, boop, boop. Take a picture. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, damn, there's no tip. Oh, and you're surprised, right? That's because enough people declined it. Just decline. Just decline it. Okay. All right, let me see if Cowboy Courier's here. I got DDIS. Let me get Cowboy Courier back up here for a second. Let me see. Not your daddy. What up? Not any. GigiCon Don is gone. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Trader did a video, and he's not making content anymore. Good for him. He's got other things going on, so that's good. CT. Hold on one second. Let me get rid of that. Thank you that Autobahn. Let me see if Cowboy Courier is ready. Cowboy, are you with us?
I am.
Right.
I am actually on a delivery right now, so you maybe want to have somebody else step up first.
I'm gonna have I will mute you, and then I'm gonna have DDIS come up. I think DDIS delivery. Are you with us, my friend?
I'm here.
All right. So I don't think you're an independent contractor. I don't have a problem with the programs. Tell me why I'm wrong.
The only thing I disagree with you about is the fact that when we have an issue with the app, why we're still running it, why we don't shut it off, why we don't get rid of it. I think that's unfair. And again, you want the honesty, right?
No, listen. I respect you, bro. Give it to me, because I'm not. Listen, this is an open debate. So please tell me why I'm wrong about that and share your opinion, please.
I mean, besides from the new followers that you have, your OG followers, your whole channel is based off of the fact that you bash DoorDash to the ground. You put it out there for real. You let people know that, hey, I can make money off of this app. But man, they're still a shady company. They're a piece of what company. And that's all your channel was built off of that. And you had a great following from that. We know it's only maybe within the last 6 months, whatever you and Sin City had your interview, and then the other DoorDash Diaries, that's when everything started to change, where everyone was starting to see that, okay, AR really does matter. Now, whereas before it was like, AR doesn't matter. Well, yes, AR does matter. It was 50-50. I was on that train where no, AR didn't matter. Not for me. I was making good money and my AR sucked. But
to your point, I think when I was making those videos, AR did not matter because I was making good money. But I think they changed things since then. So that's why when I saw that things started changing, that's when I started changing and having a different opinion. But you're right. I definitely was the DoorDash shit. DoorDash, why? Oh my God. I was definitely that dude. And I've self-admitted I've definitely have my mindset with the apps has changed a little bit. But you bring up a great point. I just wanted to say that. Go ahead.
And see, and no hate on you, and no problem for that. Everyone loved you saying that because you kept it real. It's like, even with this company being so bad and so crappy, you can still make money off it. Yeah. And that's why you see so many content creators now say, don't let these apps whore you out. Flip the script. You got to make them your, I don't use that language, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, I like that. That's a good way of thinking, I think. Yeah.
So even when we're out there, busting our butt, we still know that these apps, we have to be careful. We know these apps are going to be shady. I'll give you a great example. I have Verizon as my cell carrier. And in the area I live in, Verizon's the only one that really works. You could try to go to T-Mobile or Sprint or whatever else is out there, but Verizon's the only one that'll really catch the service like you need to. And so whatever's going on with Verizon and their billing system, you have to stay on top of them, because there was always something wrong where they were overcharging me. Always. It's like, wow, are you guys really doing this on purpose? Because you can't be messing up accidentally this many times. There's no way. But yet it was happening. And in the back of my mind, it's like, yeah, I want to get rid of Verizon. But can I? No, I can't, because any of those other it's just not going to work for me. So I have to stick with it. But I still know it's shady. Whatever it is that you guys are doing, there's something shady. And if I wasn't checking it, which I'm sure like other customers, if we weren't checking it, then they're just banking. They're making money off of us. Just
Yeah,
like
I get what you're saying. You're saying that. So when I say, hey, if you don't like DoorDash, do something else. You're saying, well, and I have Verizon too, so I get it. Trust me. Sometimes I'm like, what? Like, there's a zone in my area that has a lot of restaurants. It's on Hampton, and every time I drive through there, it drops, or I can't hit that I arrived, or I can't, and I got to drive away, half, like, maybe a quarter of a mile. So I get that, right? But you know what though, to play devil's advocate to what you're saying you can't get something besides Verizon. You can, and so can I. I can go to Spectrum. They're giving me a great deal. I've just been lazy and I haven't tried to like not have Verizon anymore. But I can relate to that. I get that. But listen, let me ask you a question. Are you, DDIS Delivery, the hustler that you are, do you feel like you are an independent contractor?
No, not even close.
What do you think we are? What are you then? What are you?
I think we're misclassified because there's too many things that they do there's too many things that we're forced to do as employees. I think the one, it's funny that we tie so many things into the independent contractor that really just falls into that one thing that we can work when we want to. Exactly. That is just that one thing. Oh, well,
what taxes too? Taxes for 1099, for tax purposes, when you go to do your 1099 and submit your DoorDash, Uber, Instacart earnings, you're submitting it as a IC, right? So for tax purposes, there's it makes sense for that, but anything else, man, yeah, I think you're right. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, all the people that I hear, and I get that too, because I have kids, and the one that's in school now, I could go to all of her field trips and all that, because I can come and go as I please when I want to work. Mm-hmm. If I don't feel good, I don't have to worry about calling out and hear some jerk manager trying to guilt me into coming back into work. It's like, Absolutely. Are you sure you can't make it? I don't have to put up with none of that. But that all still falls under the one thing that we can come and go as we please. So, but for all these other things, like, even with Spark being my main one, I keep hearing all these people that I'm dealing with that, the customer rating keeps going down. It keeps taking a hit. Mm-hmm. And I think because there's so many new loaders in our areas, because the turnover is just ridiculous. They just can't keep people at Walmart. And you watch how they load the bags. They're crushing bread, crushing chips, giving them all this bad produce. And then I think the customers don't realize when they rate that, they're actually rating the drivers. So then when you see your ratings going down and you have no idea why, but then you call and ask them, hey, can you tell me what they said? And they say, no, we don't look into that. Like, well, but you're holding us accountable for it as an independent contractor, but yet you're telling me I'm accountable to what somebody else is saying, but I have no idea what they said. That's just ridiculous.
No, that seems crazy. And that's part of it for sure. The bad part, right? The ratings part and how customers can rate us or this or that, or say they didn't get their order. That's definitely that's the shit that just makes me mad. It's crazy because you literally have no control over that. But I'll say this, I've never done Spark, right? But I've done Walmart pickup delivery on DoorDash when it had it. And I've done a couple on Uber Eats, right? And I've done Instacart pickup to where the Instacart in-store shopper shops it and I just pick a bag up and drop it off, right? For me, if I saw my ratings drop, I would probably, and you guys in the chat and DDIS, you tell me if you have something else that you might think, but for me, if I'm seeing my ratings fall, maybe it's to the point where now when I'm dropping off these Sparks, I might put a message in like, thanks for your order. This was shot by a Walmart shopper. I picked it. I don't know. You don't want to say too much, but at some point, if it's dropping so bad to where you might be kicked off or at risk of not seeing good batches, maybe there's something we as drivers or delivery drivers could do to help protect us. I don't know what that is on Spark because I don't know how the app works. But that sucks. I mean, I've had probably 8 contract violations in my 3 years of DoorDash, and every time I get one, they're always false. I've never stolen food, or I've had some Instacart ratings that were like, oh, they didn't give me my 12 pack of Dr. Pepper. No, I did. It was on your porch. It's like customers lie. They give you bad ratings. I don't know how we get around that. What do you say to that? Are there some things that you've implemented to kind of get around that? Or is it just one of those things that we just kind of have to take it as part of the job? What do you say?
See, I say the same thing you were just saying. I definitely had always told myself I didn't want to hit up customers for a 5-star rating. I don't want to have to do
Yeah,
that.
I've never asked somebody for that. Yeah, I don't do it. Yeah.
But it seems like that's the only way you can get around it now to make sure that you have something to offset what's going on. Especially if you're taking DoorDash, those lowball orders where you know that those low orders usually come with somebody being stupid and giving you a bad rating. So what can you do? You have to protect yourself and like kind of think ahead of the game and like get yourself up there with your ratings high enough to where you can take a hit and it's not really going to affect you. But again, it's like I never hated on anybody else for doing that, because I've heard a lot of people, when they left, they let the customer know, hey, I'd appreciate a 5-star rating if you like the service. I don't see any problem with that for them. I just didn't want to do it for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, for sure. But, you know, for some people, I think it works. It depends on how you deliver that message, how you ask, you know what I'm saying? Like, or how you go about it. I definitely think if there's like a in person, like you're dropping something off and you see a person, I always say you should always thank them. If it's a hand to me, or you're dropping off a Walmart Spark and they happen to come to the door and they're grabbing bags as you're bringing them, like you should always look at them in the eyeballs, say, hey, thank you for this order today. Appreciate you for keeping me in business, or whatever you want to say. I appreciate your order, or thanks for the great tip. If you know there's a tip on there, we should always be doing those things. And you don't have to ask for 5-star rating afterwards. Just thank them. Say, hey, thank you for placing your order today. We really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. Boom. Real simple. It takes 10 seconds. You know, we should all be doing that kind of stuff, especially when it's in person, because I don't think enough drivers do that. And when you do that, that's going to make you stand out. And maybe you'll get an extra tip. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll get a 5-star. Maybe you won't. But overall, if you do that and you saw 5 or 6 people over the course of your day, I bet you 1 or 2 of those people rate you, or maybe even throw you an extra 5. I would say, you know, I think that's one way we can protect ourselves, is when the ratings can be a positive, right? Like how can we make more ratings positive to offset some of the negative? You know what I mean? So
right. There's one lady in particular who the only reason I asked her for a 5-star rating, because she didn't tip cash or money. She would always like, hey, do you smoke bud? Because I can tip you.
Yeah, I've had, you know, I dropped off to these guys one day, and they asked me that, and it was like, oh, I wouldn't give you some, and I don't smoke, you know. But I thought that was kind of them. Like, I'm cool.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, hey, it's cool. People smoke, you know. So I thought that was cool. But like, I just told him, no, I'm good, man. Thanks. So, and I think he tipped me a couple bucks. So it was whatever. But it was interesting. Or maybe he was trying to sell me weed. I have no idea. But I thought he was trying to give it to me just to be nice, you know. But that's wild. Hey, man, listen, I'm going to bring a couple people up. I appreciate you coming on here and having a different opinion and sharing with us. And I respect that, man. I know you. We did that wars together. You're a true driver out here. And I respect that. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing me on and letting me have the voice.
Hey, all the time, brother. Have a good night.
You too, bro.
All right. DDIS Delivery. He is a real one. I can vouch for that. All right. I see Glenn. I see Val. I see JP. I see Bernard. Bernard, I don't know if you've ever been on this show before. If you haven't been on the show before, you have to show your face. It's the one rule I have. Okay. Only because I see Cowboy Courier's back. Only because I've been bombed a few times, people coming in being crazy. So, all right, cool. All right. So let's bring in, we got 1, 2, 3. I'm going to bring all you guys in at the same time. And listen, this is the topic tonight. This is my opinion. You are not an independent contractor. Take the tax part out of it. You're not independent. I'm not independent. I have no problem with the programs. I got no problem with the ratings. If you feel differently, let me know. All right, let's go. We got Bernard. Bernard, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. We got JP's Gig Corner. JP, how you doing, my friend?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. We have Val. How you doing?
What's going on, Pedro?
What's up? What's up? Oh, what is the noise in the back? Somebody's got some water going on. Somebody in the tub.
It's me.
What's happening here? Okay.
It's me. I'm in the hot.
Got it. Nice. All right.
Because I just got finished driving.
Got it. We got Glenn Slipley. What up, Glenn? How you doing?
All right, man. It's been a while.
I know. I see you. And Cowboy Courier, are you back with us?
Yeah. I mean, I'm engaged in the cardinal sin of actively running deliveries while on the stream. But the trouble is, you're always running this show right when it's like the middle of that post.
No, I think Cowboy is in the hot tub with the other guy.
Maybe. All right, so let me start with Cowboy Courier first to see who's waiting. He came on earlier. Cowboy Courier, you are not an independent contractor. I have no problem with the ratings and the programs. Prove me wrong.
Well, I like that term, the subcontractor. It makes more sense to me. But I like to compare working, on the DoorDash platform to working on Fiverr, where it's just a platform where you go and you're sort of self-employed or just doing like odd jobs, basically. You're working for yourself.
You are.
That's.
You are.
I mean, I feel like it'd almost be like if you were a mobile mechanic that found work on Craigslist, you wouldn't say that you work for Craigslist.
You don't. And would you go to Craigslist and complain about how much you made?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
No, I just wouldn't take a job from a lowballer.
Good point. What do you feel about the programs, all these test pilots, all these things DoorDash is doing to help or hurt or whoever line you fall on with the programs and all? Like, what do you think about them? What's your honest opinion about them? Are you worried? Like, do you hate them? Do you think there should be no programs at all? What do you think?
I'm totally fine with them. And in fact, I'm actually kind of looking forward to that Dasher Rewards one coming to my market. Just because my market and the way that I dash, I'm able to keep a pretty high acceptance rate. And I haven't been able to get into the large order program for a long time. And so having access to those orders, that's like going to be the change for me. And maybe it's going to hurt other dashers. They're potentially going to lose out on the strategy that they use, putting themselves through hell week so that they can get dash anytime. If there's going to be other dashers losing out on that, like I feel for them, but they need to adjust their strategy. And if that's,
I hear you cut out just a little bit there. Let me get it to FDR Bernard. What do you got on your mind? I don't think you're independent. I don't have a problem with the programs. Give me your thoughts.
I think, first of all, let me explain where I'm at. I'm in Danbury, Connecticut, which is, it borders, they just released that Connecticut has got to have a 90% acceptance rate, or not acceptance rate, completion rate. But the Danbury zone has New York State in it. So it gets even more fun. So if I go dash the next zone over, like in Waterbury, I have to maintain a 90% completion rate. But if I go to the Danbury zone, I only need 80% because it's got New York in it.
Interesting. So that's a different predicament. Yeah. Okay.
And so what this causes is it causes a lot of different issues. And for me, I noticed when I was vacationing one time up in New Hampshire, they had earn by time, but they refused to do it in Connecticut. And I think it has to do with how each state defines independent contractors. And I think this is going to be an interesting thing that occurs.
Well, I know New York has different legislation or laws, especially New York City, as far as the pay models and what they show drivers. So maybe it's something that have to do with that. I don't know. But let me ask you a question. Are you concerned about not being able to keep a 90% completion rate?
I have to keep it 95 in order to keep in the large order program, which.
So you're not concerned then, right?
I'm not concerned. I feel a lot of cash tips around here, which is odd, but I think it's just where I'm at in the country.
It sounds like a good problem to have.
Yes, a lot of people from the New York City financial district that live up here.
Yeah.
Hey, do you deliver normally, and do you deliver in Danbury or Fairfield County normally?
So the Danbury zone includes Putnam, New York, Mount Carmel, Brewster. Then it includes Woodbury, Southbury, Newtown, Monroe, parts of Monroe, Brookfield, New Milford, Sherman, Connecticut, and Bethel, and parts of Reading. So it's essential.
Except for the last two, it's that's probably one of the richest areas in the country. I mean, short of Greenwich and Fairfield, and
you can't make money down there. I've talked to other dashers. You cannot make money down there because it's so gridlocked. But you have to be willing to drive 15 plus miles per delivery. But you're making at least $1 per mile up here.
Interesting. I want to get JP's perspective on the topics at hand. JP, right. I am not an independent contractor. Neither are you. That's my opinion. What do you think about that? Plus, I have no problem with the ratings, these new programs. I think if anything, in the long term, they'll be good for most dashers, but some won't like it. What do you say to those things?
What I say is that what I've said pretty much the entire time, especially with DoorDash, Uber Eats, Uber, and most of these gig apps where you use your car to either deliver food or pick up people. Maybe it's a little different with some of the shopping apps because you can pick and choose. But you're an employee. You're just a completely unprotected employee. They are now.
And JP, that's why you lean towards having people come in and hold the companies accountable because you feel like we're employees, right?
I think there's so many abuses. Unlike what you said, I don't agree that people can control their own destiny here. They can't. Too many of the people that are doing this they're actually the least privileged in our society. They're people many do not speak English as their first language. There are more people that 70%, 80% of the population that does this is people of color. All right. They're not as well educated. They don't have the tools to set up to win here. There is a real low entry point, and nobody seems to give a damn whether,
let me say this, JP. I think I would agree with you if what you're saying, those numbers are true, right? Let's assume that they are. Okay. I agree with you if that person's going into this and wants to do it for a long time. Yes, I agree with that. I think it's the race to the bottom. But most people that do this work, even those individuals, maybe somebody that English is a second language, whatever, they don't do it for that much. So it could benefit their life if you use it as an opportunity to, while you have a W-2 or something else that provides you benefits, to put some money away, save up for a home, do this, do that. So I look at it as the opposite end. I think it actually affords a lot of people that you just mentioned an opportunity, but I do think there's a small amount of people that are going to do this forever, and then they will screw themselves in the long run, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think it's a sustainable thing for anyone to do for forever. There is no future here in this. However, especially from where I came from, there was in the industry I worked in and the one you worked in for a good part of your life, there was not much of an opportunity there for many of the people that came in as team members. They could work their way up, no question about that. But even at that point, they're still very low paid compared to what people get paid for the same type of responsibility in many other walks of life. And that's where I think like, for instance, I used to say this to my folks all the time. No one grew up and said when they were in second or third grade, teacher says, what do you want to be when you grow up? No one says, I'm going to be the broiler man at Burger King. Nobody does that. Okay. They're going to be a fireman, they're going to be a cop, they're going to be an astronaut, whatever, but they're not going to, no one's saying that, but people find themselves in that position in life and they then get into a routine and they're then afraid to go do something different. And in many cases, they're not able or legally able to go do other things. So that's what they do just to make sure that they get by. And I have no trouble with all of those things, except for the fact that when Instacart can get away with paying people in North Carolina just under $5 per hour on their portion of what they pay people. In New York City, and they just did the study, what DoorDash paid was $7.09 an hour. And that's coming from the New York Times. Okay. So that's not my data.
JP, I want to make something aware of you. So I want to give you the opportunity to possibly rephrase it or whatever. A lot of people in the chat are saying, what did he just say? He said people of color are uneducated. So can you explain that, people in the chat are saying you said people of color are uneducated. So can you kind of
that's
reframe
not
that?
what I said. What I said is that many people who do this are not as well educated. And
right, but you said 70%.
And then right
of people
after that, I
this.
followed it up with 70% of the people doing it are people of color. Okay.
Right.
Completely different. And I didn't mean to denote or connote that they're not educated. That's not it got anything to do with it. It's not about education as far as color is concerned. It's who they're taking advantage of. And there's protections with all other lines of work, but not this work. Why? And that's what's wrong. That is what's wrong here with the gig economy and just in general. I'm just repeating what data the states of California, Colorado, let me see here. What was the other one that just got shot down? Minnesota, New York just passed it. And no one seems to be happy with $18 an hour now. But New York City they were only averaging on DoorDash $7.09 an hour. No,
yeah, but they were only averaging that without tips, which is stupid because, yeah, if I'm in St. Louis and I do 3 runs and each run paid me $2 from DoorDash, I only made $6 from DoorDash, but you have to include the tip. Like, to me, it's like it's like very false, misleading information that New York gave out to people because they're saying, oh, they made it look like the drivers are only making $7 an hour. That was not the case. So for me, it's like I think New York is going to screw them. So, so yeah, I could say in St. Louis, I only make $6 an hour. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
If anybody's in the know about this New York thing, so very commonplace in this gig app industry that we find ourselves are people multi-apping, running multiple apps at the same time. So if somebody in New York City where DoorDash has to pay them, what is it, $18 an hour? If they're also running Uber Eats, does Uber Eats also have to pay them $18 for that hour? Does Grubhub also have to pay them $18 for the hour? I mean, if you're dirty apping and you have all 3 apps and you are carrying 3 bags at the same time, taking your sweet time, of course, because you're triple apping. Yeah. Are you then sitting there pulling like $60 an hour?
No, I don't think so because it's on active time. I think sometimes it might help you because if you are a driver that has an Uber Eats and a DoorDash in your car at the same time and both apps are active, maybe, but I don't feel like that's the case because it's only on active. So like you can't like take a DoorDash and then take it and then not do an Uber but have Uber on and Uber's paying you. Uber's not going to pay you unless you're active.
But no, but a lot of people do this like strategic multi-apping.
Yeah,
routing and
in the case of what Pedro just said, yes, they would get paid triple that time. But my understanding in New York is that it's actually total time. At least that's what it was originally. And where I got what the statistics that I'm quoting was from the New York Times. And their articles about this of how it is actually a discriminatory practice. All right. So, yes, somebody said in this, I can't see the comments when I'm on this thing, but someone said in the comment, the private ones is that I'm an educated Native American and with the triple business major and the gig is better than the restaurant position. I don't disagree with that. That is completely true. If you work these apps correctly, you will make more, but none of them are going to pay a living wage. And that's the problem. And yes, I understand what you're saying, Pedro, but what you got to do is make it relevant to what area it is. In New York City, or where my son lives in San Francisco, a 1-bedroom apartment that's 700 square feet is $3,500 a month. And that's a deal. Okay. That's a lot of money. And that's only the apartment. They also got to pay for parking. They got to pay for a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I think the inflation and the cost of living in places like that. And that's why I think they have that Prop 22 in Cali, right? These are big, big cities and states, and they have to live in to do anything in these places is way different than St. Louis. Like I completely get that, right? But I just, for me, like, and Lazarus, I think is who you're talking about, made that comment. I know Lazarus, right? Good people, right? But I think he's right. This work can be better than a restaurant position. I've worked the restaurant positions, every restaurant position in a restaurant. But I'll say this kind of work can pay you more in a short interval of time. And short interval might be a year, 5 years. It could be 10 years for somebody. Okay. But in the long run, it's not going to serve you good. You're not paying into any Social Security. You're not paying into any 401k. You're not getting any kind of benefits, no health insurance. So in the short term, you could make good money in the gig economy. Yeah, I think a lot of us have proven that. But long term, you are at a huge disadvantage, in my opinion.
I completely agree with that. What I think though is I think all of these programs, all the things that DoorDash in particular has done, and Uber has been doing it in the rideshare end of it forever. Everything is structured so that you really are an actual employee. Except for they don't have to pay. They don't pay in their half of Social Security and Medicare. They don't have to offer you any kind of worker protection. And everyone throws around a subcontractor, but subcontractors are the same thing as an independent contractor. It's the same definition. And it doesn't matter how you define it. It just means there's one more contract under another contract. And none of that matters. It's still a way, and it's where we got into trouble, period, all over from a taxation standpoint and everything else, is that all the companies are saying, hey, let's figure out a way to make it to where we don't have to pay 10% of what we pay to a person. If I pay you $1,000 this week, I don't have to pay the government $100 for that. That's as simple as that.
Well, let me say this: if DoorDash made us all employees and paid us whatever, they gave us benefits, they did all this stuff, right? Let's say, they did that, right? How many orders do you think the communities would be able to be served as fast as we serve them now? No way, because there'd be way less drivers and people would not get their orders. They wouldn't order, and then there would be no apps at all. So, I mean, do you think we should be employees, or do you think we should be how we are?
I think neither. I think what should happen is they should create, work has changed, create another type of work. That is, you can be an independent contractor. Everybody talks about independence is going to go away. You're not going to be able to go on when you want. They're not going to do any of that. Their business is built on that. Their business is 100% built on. They couldn't get what everyone claims in the gig economy is that there's 15 million people doing this. They couldn't get 15 million people to do this if they structured everything the way they want it.
I got to read this comment. Hold on. So Jeff Thomas Black says, except why would the subvert and undermine employees? Gig app workers are app slaves made for abuse and exploitation only. That is the most ignorant comment I've read on this stream tonight. So if you think we are app slaves, that you're a victim mentality, please dismiss yourself from the chat. I can't deal with human beings like that. App slaves. So are we app slaves? Are we slaves?
No, we're not app slaves.
When people use the word slave in terms of work that you don't have to do, I get highly offended. Jeff, please don't make me block you, man. That's an ignorant comment for you to put in the live chat, bro. App slaves. That's ridiculous. Okay, sorry. Well, that's absurd.
Yeah, slavery was eliminated a long time ago in this country, but the bottom line is
we're app slaves. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're not. But the apps, not the apps, the companies that run these things. And I just figured out how to get it to come on. And somebody said these companies are losing money. They wouldn't make money. The reason they're losing money is they're paying themselves and the rest of their management team literally 4 and 5 times what the average person with that type of responsibility would get paid. And that's not something I'm guessing at. That's something I actually know. And they don't need to. It's just what they pay. I was offered a job at DoorDash for about 50 grand a year more than I was making as a director of operation over 52 restaurants.
Mhm.
So it was, and it was a 40-hour a week position. All right. It's ridiculous what they pay. All right. I just was sick and tired of all the travel. All right. Bottom line is, that's what you would change for these companies to make it. And if DoorDash doesn't make it, who cares? There'll be another VC that steps up in Northern
Absolutely.
California,
Absolutely.
and they will fund it instantly. They have billions and billions of dollars that they're trying to find a home for, okay, in a company that would work, okay, and they don't have enough of really good ideas to do that with. So DoorDash, the people there, Tony Hsu and his minions would actually figure out a way to make it work, okay, because if not, there's, one of the big problems with venture capital money is that they don't have enough good product to go after. So this would be something that they would, just like if Lyft goes under, I don't think they will, but if they did, another company would get started in relatively short order, and it wouldn't be as hard because Uber already wrote the book on it, and they could do the same thing. So I don't worry about any of that. Because it doesn't matter. Why should they be able? Why should all of these companies not have to meet the minimum requirements that most other companies hit? And I get it. You're going to say, well, we calculated on tips. Well, they know. Here's the difference is when you work in a restaurant, you don't know if you're going to get tipped or not. It is dependent on your service. That's what tips stands for, is to ensure proper service, right? Bottom line is, if you're good at it and you find the right restaurants to work in as a person who's a server, you can make very good money. My wife's done it for 35 years. Okay. The bottom line is, you can kind of predict, not always, but you can have a pretty good fair estimate as to what you're going to make. With DoorDash, Uber, and the rest, you don't, and they don't even put out a number that makes even sense for the tipping part of it when it comes to the suggested tips. So all I'm saying on all of this is that's why that's why we really do need to take a different approach with all of this and go and get it. And again, I've said this before to you, Pedro. I believe that I would much rather see no regulation and everything else. But unfortunately, I know how the people who run these companies, where they come from. And, these are people that went to schools that cost 75 and 80 grand a year. All right. I don't know about you, but I was fortunate enough to where my son could go to one of those schools, but I didn't have to pay for it. Okay. So
no, I hear you. I want to bring.
If I had to pay for it, I couldn't have. But my point is, those people think completely different than you and I do, and they want to take more and more and more. And that's why I think you got to have the regulations say, nope, this is enough. Enough is enough. And if you don't, if you control this, you have to. Then you have to pay them whatever that minimum wage is. And then the tips become less of an issue for everyone. Although, you wouldn't do it and I wouldn't do it as an employee, but but it also all depends on how they structured it, because with the right incentives, I still do. I will still do. Last 2 weeks, I've only done about 15 or 16 deliveries a week, and the catering part of it. But I do the catering orders all the time. I was going to ask the guy from Connecticut if he, how many large orders do you see each week? Is he still?
Oh, I would say just tonight, what DoorDash classifies catering is popped up as needing a catering bag. 5. Actually, no, 6.
Okay, and how much did they pay?
One was $35 plus $15 cash tip. Because I ended up waiting like 40 minutes at the restaurant for them, but I knew that was
everybody. Hello.
The other 2 were about in the $20 range average to 20 to 30.
How's everybody going?
And I think I want to add one thing that you were talking about. I think some of these companies are, when you talk about minimum wage, there's something you need to consider. Out in California, they don't do tip credits towards the minimum wage. The restaurant employer has to pay the minimum wage. But in Connecticut, the tip counts towards the minimum wage. But if you don't make the minimum wage for that work week, the employer is supposed to make up the difference.
Yeah,
It used to be that way.
Yeah,
In California, it used to be that way.
Yeah, but
Seriously,
I
it used
don't
to be
live
that
in
way. We
California.
changed it.
Yeah, but I lived in Connecticut for 13, 14 years. So I'm familiar with Connecticut, and I was in the restaurant business the whole time I was there. So quite frankly, in the restaurants, at least the ones I was involved with that had tableside service, we never had trouble with the people. They were making very good money. I mean, excellent money. So
wait.
It sounds like you're making great money.
I like to add to that. Okay, California back in 2020 or 2021, when the pandemic was going, there were a difference in pay, but they changed to Prop 22. And honestly, it was a better system. Prop 22 was a way better system because we would get a stipend check every 3 months. And it varies between $1,300 to $1,400 every 3 months. Your healthcare insurance don't cost that much. Mostly it costs like, I'd say no more than like $150, $200 at the most. And they would give you $1,400 every 3 months. So obviously you're not going to spend all that for your healthcare insurance. So it would cover more than your healthcare insurance. You can use your entire stipend check one time, and it would pay your insurance for the whole year. So what about the other 2 stipend checks that you would get throughout the year? Well, you could just pocket those, or you could invest it into something else, like I've done. You don't have to spend the stipend check for that. You know, I believe this Prop 22 should be nationwide, because that would end all of this tipping issues, especially with people who don't have areas that don't tip very well. The stipend check can really balance it out and give you a more incentive to work.
I do want to throw one other thing on the table here, and maybe this is something that most people wouldn't consider. Is I think some of these companies are purposely misclassifying people as independent contractors to avoid.
Hold on. FDR, I don't know who it is, but somebody sounds like they're like in like a tunnel or something. I don't know if that's you or. So make sure you guys have like if you have YouTube on, you got to have it lowered or something, because I'm getting.
No, I have YouTube off.
Okay.
Yeah, I cut mine off.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say is I think these companies are somewhat avoiding OSHA regulations, and actually, I think the one they're really trying to avoid is actually the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act.
No, I wouldn't agree with that. I think their major motivation, their stated motivation, is they avoid paying all the employment taxes, because ADA they have to comply with ADA. That is one of the few things they have to comply with. But they don't have.
If you needed an accommodation such as what I was going to say is, if we were employees, they would have to provide an accommodation if you had a physical disability for a work vehicle. And I don't think they want to get into the business of doing that.
No, not if they require you to have your own vehicle. They don't. That's not the law. It's not the way it works.
Right. But if they, I'm
there
just
are
saying.
So many write-offs. There are so many write-offs for us independent workers that it's unreal. Like if you went and took a business trip, and you had a business card with you, and you were doing a business trip and you were going to overseas or something like that, and you mentioned that you worked for DoorDash as an independent contractor, that trip could be considered a business expense, which you are an independent contractor, you own your own business, so you can have that as a write-off. There's so many write-offs that we dashers have that is not explored. It should be, because we have a lot of benefits over normal W-2 workers. We really do.
Well, we have
And
write-offs above what a W-2 worker has, and those would stay the same. This all could be structured so they stay the same. That's what they did in California. That's what they did in Seattle. That's what they did in the rest of the state of Washington, and they did in Oregon. So all of this all that can still be protected. You can't take and just talk about DoorDash and make it a tax deduction. You have to be actively working the business at that point. But we get, we'd still get the mileage deduction and or the expenses for the car, your telephone, and the other reasonable business expenses. Yeah, all of that would still be there, but you would just have to. What the companies would have to do is pay, and this is not a popular one, but what I would want to do is to have all gig workers have to pay in, because every gig worker gets another big benefit. You're not paying 7.65% of every dime you earn. You don't have to contribute to Social Security and Medicare. Pedro just brought it up. If you do that for 10 years in your life, you're going to feel it when it comes time for you to retire. And
Yep.
I want you to know, I'm going to pay more if that happens. I'm going to pay a lot more because
Tell him, OG.
I'm retired. Okay?
Tell him.
Pardon me?
well, I worked in the restaurant industry for about 20 years, so I've already paid in quite a bit.
Tell him what's real. Tell him what's real.
Yeah, I spent 45 years in the restaurant industry, so I know what's real as well. But I'm telling you, but I was also earning six figures for, I don't know, 35 years of that. So, or six figures plus. So, so I don't have to worry about Social Security. My Social Security is maxed out. Okay. I couldn't get paid anymore unless I just put it off and not take it. However, I'm not going to get anything if they changed it tomorrow. The revenue I had last year, I'd pay about $6,000 into Social Security instead of the about 23 or 24, 2,500 that I paid in self-employment taxes. So my tax bill automatically goes up $4,000 or $5,000, which I'm more than willing to do because that's what we all need to be. We all have to pay into this. This system doesn't work if you don't pay into it. But I want to start with the companies having to pay into it and pay you more money. They should have to pay you mileage. They should have to pay you those things. And they're gonna keep doing what's best for them. They really don't give a damn about us. And
no, I want to bring it. I want to try to bring it full circle. I want to let Glenn get in the convo. I got Steven, Val. I do think though, right? I think DoorDash is. Who's got the water? What is? Hold on, listen, guys, listen. Hold on. I hate muting people. But,
I'm leaving now, so
okay,
that will end that problem.
Got it. Okay. I don't know who that. Who's I mean, it's hard when there isn't a face. It's hard for me to. Okay, got
it. Sorry, I just figured it'd be dark anyway since it's dark out.
No problem. All right, thanks, man. Okay, so I think these companies that do these things. It's always been like that. I don't know. None of us have the answer. Otherwise, we would have figured it out. But it's interesting. So listen, let's get back to what we're talking about. I don't think we're independent contractors. JP says, yep, nope, you guys are misclassified employees, right? I want to get Glenn, Val, Steven, and Lazarus, get your opinion on if you are an independent contractor. Give me a 30-second clip of your thoughts on that. Glenn, do you think you're an independent contractor?
As far as DoorDash is concerned, no. Because, DoorDash gives us the offers, sends the money to our app, and we have the choice of accepting it or not. In my art business, I do consider myself an independent contractor because I'm the one that goes out and searches for where the money is, searches for the customer that's willing to, pay for my artwork. Mm-hmm. And that it sounds the same, but it's a little bit different. I go out and search for the work myself, and it doesn't just come to me.
Right. But as far as DoorDash, you don't feel independent.
No.
Okay.
No.
Lazarus, what about you?
Well, I'm in California. I've dealt with various versions of DoorDash before the pandemic and after, with the different varies of how they dealt with us. Before I felt like I was kind of like employee, but it's more like a hybrid over here now, where you have more control of what you make, but you got to have certain percentages, and you can't drop that many orders, and you're in brackets now. But it's not that tier program that they came out with on other areas. Our area, I don't have it. I'm a beta tester. I don't have that system into my app right now, so it's not in this area, and I'm not tested the area for it. They would give it to me first. So this area does not have the tier program, and I think it probably won't have the tier program for quite a long time because of Prop 22. I think Prop 22 is kind of blocking that tier program from coming here, which is a good thing. Other areas that don't have Prop 22, they're going to have the tier program more than likely, and they know how to deal with that, having the 9% accept, completion rate and all that. But for us Californians, we know how to deal with that stuff. And for me, on that outlook, I believe I'm more independent than most dashers out there. And that's just being in California because of the Prop 22. We're more independent than most
it's interesting that you say that, because I feel some people think, at least people that don't live in Cali, that don't have Prop 22, they look at as Prop 22 dashers as employees. Have you heard that sentiment before?
Well, I mean, yeah, I would say that, because it depends on how many active hours you have to get your stipend check. So you can have your stipend check from 15 on above, but see, what they do is, if you have 15 to 25, you only get 633 or 650 around there per every 3 months. And then for somebody who works over 25 active hours on average per week, then you'll get the big lump sum, which makes it more lucrative, $1,366 to $1,400 a week for 3 months. And then us dashers out here, most of us normally get $1,400 to $1,600. I've seen guys that make $1,700 a week out here in California. So it's really more lucrative on the Prop 22 and getting paid that much a week, because it's almost the same amount that we were getting during the pandemic. We were only short like maybe $500. So to us, we're more independent than most of the people who don't have Prop 22. That's why I say that Prop 22 should be nationwide. It should be a nationwide ordinance for federally. It should be opposed on every state, because it's a benefit, very much a benefit, because it'll make you get health insurance, it'll make you pay for 3 months, and then they'll give you your money back plus some.
Interesting. Let me get Val E. I'm gonna Val E. What do you say? Do you feel like you're an independent contractor when you're doing DoorDash and these gig apps?
Oh no, when I see you on the YouTube shorts, man, I feel like you're the independent Terminator, man. I'm like, fuck, man, that's great.
I don't know what that means. What do you mean?
No, you're one of the greats already, man. I see you doing big things. Your style is fly, man, and if you're pulling it off with the gig work, man, that's even more legendary.
I hear you. So do you think, like, are we independent contractors? What do you say? Do you think that we're independent? Are we subcontractors? Maybe that's the same thing. Are we misclassified employees? What do you say?
Well, we give up a lot of freedoms with the W-2s to start off. That's where we all came from. The boss nagging you 5 minutes late, and I gotta take care of the kids. Oh, well, you'll be fired on the next one then. And then now when you're a gig worker, you got all this free time and stuff, but you made a video about numbers and having to deal with somebody else giving you your outcome. And I'm the type, like, if I mow 100 lawns, I want to make a lot of money on that.
Sure. You want to be able to control your own pockets, kind of, is what you're saying.
Yeah. If somebody says dig a hole for all day, and I'll give you how much you dig, that's how much I want to get paid, and I work my butt off, to do it.
Gotcha. Let me give JP. I'll go around. If you guys got some final thoughts, now's the time. JP, I'll start with you. Oop, hold up. I gotta unmute because I was
again with
okay,
the same.
Go ahead. Go ahead, JP. Go ahead.
It is we're not independent contract, at least not with apps such as DoorDash. You're not an independent contractor. You're an employee, and unfortunately, most states don't have Prop 22. And the only way any of those things would happen is if every gig worker would be, or not every, but 10% of the gig workers in the country were to start contacting their congressperson and the U.S. senators and their state legislators, because those are the people that are going to make a change. And it's really past due, because these companies are really taking advantage of people who. Yeah, I know a lot of people from the restaurant world come into this work because, hey, you don't have a boss. You can do it when you want, and you have, and you're going to take home more money. You're not actually making more money. That's the problem, is you're not paying all the things you're going to have to pay. And unfortunately, many, not all, but many don't pay what they're supposed to until they get caught by the IRS. And then when they do, they go, "Oh, wait a minute, I didn't know I needed to do all that." And there are thousands of cases out there that I've read that say that people who have been an Uber driver for several years and never paid any taxes. Or never even filed tax returns. You can't do that. You have to file all that.
It'll get them. Yeah.
And so that's why everybody thinks it's great. Well, sure, you're not having 30 or 40%. And if you're in California, it's 50%. You're not having 50% taken out of your check for taxes. But in most of the rest of the country, you're not having the 30% taken out. And that's a pretty big difference, okay, in the paycheck. So I get it, but I also go back to what I've said all along, and that is, and these things just make it more and more like you are an employee, you're just not getting paid for it. So I don't think all of it will work. I think parts of it probably will drive up the AR for DoorDash, but I also don't worry a bit about what companies are going to survive out of it, because even if they don't survive, somebody put it in the chat a few minutes ago, all they have is an app. Okay. And that's really all they do have, is they have a marketplace where they're bringing their brokers. And just like they did in the trucking industry, there's brokers all over the place. And that's, that's what they're eventually going to realize, is that they're not going to be able to continue to do it. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, but IRS is in the chat. Okay. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on it. Is that, and that's the only reason I came on, was I really do believe that it's one of these things that will just make it worse. I don't think people will make more money out of this. I really don't. I think eventually they'll see less and less money. So
I think if you're doing this full time and you don't have a plan, and this is 100% of your income, I completely agree with JP. Yeah. I want to say, though, I think this is a really good way to make money if you have a goal and you do it for a short period of time, whatever that means to you. 6 months, a year, you got a 3-year plan. You do it and you stack some money. I still recommend it. I don't think we're slaves to the apps. I think that is absurd, in my opinion. I don't think these apps are the devil. I don't think they're the worst thing ever. I think it's an opportunity. That's how I look at it. Glenn, give me some final thoughts, my friend.
Well, on June 6th of this year, I turned 62. And I was thinking to myself, because I've been doing earn by time all this time. And I realized that most of the junk orders that people pass up get turned on to us. And I was getting really frustrated with it. And so I said to myself, I was like, why am I still doing this? I don't need this. I don't need to do this anymore, because, I've made enough money in my art business to sustain me for the rest of the year, if not more. And I start teaching in September. So on June 6th, I officially just retired from DoorDash.
Good for you. Good for you. But but Glenn, you used DoorDash when you needed it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then when you see that the money's not there anymore, you find other ways to make money, some art, going back to teaching, right? So you used DoorDash as a means that you needed it for that time. And I think that that's what the app is. I think that that's the way the app is intended to be used. And I think that people that get really riled up about it are the individuals that don't have an end game or a goal, and they're just looking at it as a long-term goal. They made $1,000 this week for 6 months, and then now they're making less, and now they're like freaking out because they don't understand what this app really is. That's what I think.
Yeah. When I first started in 20, I didn't have an end game either. All this what I'm doing now is just came by strictly by luck. Actually, I had never planned on it when I first started DoorDash in 20. I just happened to be doodling on a piece of paper one day, and my wife said, "Hey, that's pretty good stuff. You should do that. You should sell your stuff." And it kind of took off from there. A year ago in February, I sat down with the president of the school I'm going to be teaching at, and some directors in the art department, and we sat down and negotiated a 5-year contract.
There you go. That's good, man.
That's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love to hear Glenn sharing some positive things, and he seems to be doing that the last few times. Let me get to Lazarus. Lazarus, some final thoughts on tonight's topics. Oop, hold up, I got to unmute. There he is. Okay,
well,
Lazarus, go ahead.
I think you're correct about us being mislabeled as independent, but that's just a loophole that the government's allowed them to do. And until that is actually fixed, or until it goes away, or they get to where DoorDash can no longer do it, or any of the give apps, it's going to continue staying the same program. And what they're doing the tightening up because, like you said, there's thousands of people not paying taxes, so they're probably getting tired of that too. So they're eventually going to have to clamp down on these apps to where people are paying taxes out of their weekly earnings. Eventually, that's going to happen. Eventually, they're going to make the gig apps take out taxes from people that work for these companies because they're not enforcing the tax laws. So eventually, that will happen.
Well, if that happens, then we are employees. That's how I look at that. Like if I get paid on Tuesday, like I do with DoorDash, and the taxes come out, I am an employee. Right, JP?
Yeah.
You're absolutely.
Yeah. So the second that happens, I would completely agree with JP. And they're like, "Yep, I'm an employee now. They just took out the 30%. I'm paying into my Social Security, my FICA, my state, whatever. Like totally." And then now a month later, now you got health benefits. Oh, you know what? But now I need you to schedule. Then I'm a complete employee, and I'm probably not going to work the apps as much, at least, or at all. But others might.
I believe we're like a hybrid between the two. They're making us deal with our own tax issues, but I think we're just a hybrid right now. And as long as people raise their voices about the tax issues or they're paying more than they have, then the systems will probably stay the same the way they are. And
interesting. Okay. I appreciate you bringing up the tax stuff. We don't think about that enough because a lot of us, and I've said it before, and I made $1,000 this week. No, you didn't. You made $1,000. Like you have that in your cash, or on Tuesday when you get paid, or your fast cash, but you're not paying into anything, and most of you guys aren't putting away for your future, so you didn't make $1,000, and that 1,000 feels really good. We should be proud about making whatever goal you have for your week. You should feel good about that. There's honor in working, but if you're not thinking, oh, what's the next move? And what are my taxes? And if you're 30 years old and you're going to do this for the next 20 years and you're 50, you're going to be hurting at 50. I promise you that. Because
that's unsustainable.
It's not, it is, right? So, it
really is.
Wait, Pedro, how many more years do you think you got in those knees to do this?
Let's
about
see.
20?
I could, technically, if I wanted to do this until I was 61, physically, I'd be able to. I hope I'm not. And that's just not my goal. That's not my plan in life, right? But
it's my last year. This is my last year.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm stepping out of it after this year.
Yeah. So Val, let me ask you, final thoughts. What else you want to bring to the panel before we conclude?
Yes, yes. There's been a great war between the cherry pickers and the top dashers, and
oh yeah, there is.
we're just gonna go ahead and say just take a couple days to raise your acceptance rate and slowly, fall into their system, and it's better than so you can get
I'm a cherry picker.
So you can get scheduling whenever you want, and you can.
I can get scheduling whenever I want, and I'm 10% on the acceptance rate.
I'm never ever going to
that's all dependent on your market.
Well, JP, you're Steve Jobs' nephew. We can't.
Orders are horrible.
Pardon me? What's horrible?
$2 orders, $3 orders. I'm not accepting none of those. No,
I agree.
Absolutely not. I don't care if they drop my acceptance rate to 25%. I'm not taking those orders. Now, if it's reasonable and it becomes where like I say $15, $20 an hour, I'll do that. Fine. But
yeah, but I didn't. Nowhere in Val's final statement did I hear him say anything about a $2 or $3 order. Did I miss something?
That's what.
He didn't say no.
You gotta give in.
He never. No, he never
do a
said
whole
that.
day, 2 days, 3 days full of crap orders to get that acceptance rate up.
You don't have to do that, Val. You don't have to do that.
No way.
No, you don't.
I'd rather not even get top dash. They can have that.
Yeah, we don't need it. But listen, JP said it a minute ago.
Drew, the one thing I wanted to say before you finish is that the whole thing that's driving me, and I'm actually working on this more and more now. I only did about 25 hours of gig work this week, but I'm working more and more so I can get some stuff published and put it out there. But my whole motivation is to help everyone that does it to make more money and set themselves up for the future, because that's my biggest fear is right now you're going to have a generation. I'm not going to have to worry about it, but my grandkids are going to have to pay for it later in life, because we can't continue to do this. It's a much bigger problem when you consider how many people it is. And you said it, Pedro, so many people are not actually putting money away. And that's what we need to be doing in order to make this better for the future. I think about Bud Soda making $3,000 a week, and now he's going to be bankrupt because 6 weeks or whatever he's been off of. DoorDash. That's crazy, man.
It can't be accurate. I love Bud Soda, but something's not right. I'll have to call him on a separate line.
Yeah, and I'm not going to call him out on that. I'm just going to say right now that if you did make $3,000 a week, or in the times when I made $3,000 and $4,000 a week doing rideshare, there were several weeks like that in 2020 and 2021. My expenses are about $4,000 a month total. So I put a lot of money away during those times, and I continue to do that now because I know that my kids aren't going to. Actually, I don't want to be a burden to my kids, but they probably make more money than I do now. So, I know two of them.
What JP is saying is financial literacy is extremely important, and as
critical.
As gig economy workers, I think we got to start flexing that financial literacy muscle a little more and stop thinking it's great to make this amount of money, but that long term, like what's the real money? You know what I mean? So listen, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for coming on, and happy Father's Day to any father that's up on the panel or anybody in the chat. And I want you guys to have a great rest of your Sunday. Thank you very much.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Thanks, Pedro.
Thank you, Pedro.
Much love, everybody. Tony. Sorry.
Good seeing you again, pal.
You too, brother. All right, man. All over. We all over there tonight. I like it. Listen. I love these lives, man. I love these lives. You never know who's coming up, where we're going to go. I love the organic conversations. Appreciate everybody for coming in and spending time. I know in many last lives or videos, or I've had comment thread debates with people when I would say, I'm an independent contractor. I'm not an independent contractor. I'm not. You are not. I think we're something different. And I think some people tonight said it. I think we're something else. And something else has to happen in order for us to be put in an appropriate lane, whether it's with the taxes or whatever, how we report our earnings. we have to remember, guys, like this, it's weird, man. I don't know. I don't want legislation because I think I don't want to get my channel banned or like copyrighted. You got to be careful with what you say. Okay. So how do I say this without that happening? Let's see. I'll say this. I don't want politicians in my pockets. I don't want them telling me they care about me and you, but they don't. They have another agenda. They're getting paid by this person. I don't like it. Okay? I don't like it. I don't like the government interference. I just don't. But I realize on the same side that sometimes that has to happen in order for companies to be held accountable. So we're in a weird place, right? We have to know that. We all know that. What we do is kind of weird. Okay, let's break it down like a fraction. We go to McDonald's and we pick up somebody's food that they just paid a fucking shit ton of money for, that if they would have got themselves, it would have been half the amount. Okay? And we drop it off. We're a stranger. And we're dropping it off to another stranger most of the time. In a place that we don't even know who's there. Do they got this? What we do is very odd. And it's kind of new as far as the amount that is being done every day. The food delivery and parcel services and things, it's been around for a long, long time. But and how we're doing it right now and then how we've done it in the last 5 years, extremely different at a record pace. I mean, millions and millions of orders a day. It's weird. It's different. And I think that's why we have these varying opinions on what we do and what we're classified and can you do it long term, blah, blah, blah. I get that, right? But I'm telling you right now, for all my people making $1K a week, $2K a week, if you ain't doing your taxes right, if you're not putting money away and you think that this is going to be forever money, oh, I'm making more than I was at this job. You're not. You're looking at your money from a not good financially sound place, right? And that's why since the beginning of time, when I had this YouTube channel, I show you my journey. We talk about this, right? If I did not do this and I was just doing DoorDash how I was doing it, I could get by. I could take care of my family, but I'd be struggling. I'd be more stressed out. I wouldn't have as much money in the bank. I wouldn't be able to purchase certain things. I wouldn't be able to do certain things. I wouldn't be able to have weekends off, have a good work-life balance, help other people, put money in other people's pockets. I wouldn't be able to do that if all I was doing was a gig economy. I say that, and that I'm not meaning I want you to get out of the gig economy. I just want you to focus on what's the next thing? How can I work a little less gig economy and work on other ways of making money or being happy? That's all this channel is. That's it. And then I give you some entertainment and look silly sometimes and talk crazy sometimes. That's it. There's more to this than just the food delivery and the ride share. Okay. If I came on here and said, yeah, you just do this all the time. It's great money. Look at how much money I'm making. And oh my God, I made $1,000 a week. I'm going to make 50 grand this year. No, you're not. That's not the reality. Right. And I feel like I'd be leading people down a wrong path. Right. The gig economy is a good place to be. It's a very big place. There's other ways. Now that you've put your toe, and some of you have jumped all the way into gig economy lake, right? Some of you are just dabbling your toes. Some of you jumped right in with DoorDash and Uber and Instacart and all these Spark, all these great apps, right? Right? You can't stay in that water all the time. You got to come out, right? At some point, you got to come out. And then maybe you put your feet in, but maybe you jump back in. And you have to come back out. You got to go sit down, right? You got to get dressed. You got to go beyond that. That's what I want us to think about. And we're not independent contractors, so we're just not. And to the few people that came in here tonight in the chat, appreciate y'all. I'm sure I missed some really good comments. I'm sure I did. Let me give some shout outs real quick. Bud Soda still up in here. Jeff, what up? What up? Victory Lap. Daniel, I'm nefarious. No W2 since 2020. True Pedro politics are never a good thing. Don't even get me started, man. We need to refocus, man. The way we do it here is not right. But anyways, Charlie D, Bigfoot Killer, Brian, Javier, what up? What up? George, Achieve, Joanna, Brian, what's up? Casper, June, Jose, what up, brother? Let's see what else we got. Thomas, what's up? Thomas says, come on, people. This is the easiest job ever. You literally have to have no skills. I'm retired now, so it doesn't matter. But going to a congressman about it, give me a break. Listen, Tomic, I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that comments. I can't. Cray, what up? What up? Marty, what's up, brother? Hope everyone had a good weekend. Yes. Appreciate all the channel members in the house. TN, thank you for appreciate that. Appreciate that. Dasher Wama, politicians should definitely not be allowed in this. Yeah, but a lot of people want that because they, it's we're in such a weird time too. It's weird. The apps are changing, new apps are coming, old apps are changing. It's in a weird little place, man. And like I always say, you can do more for you than any individual, government, politician, gig app can do for you. You can do way more for yourself. And a lot of us is going to take a little bit of effort, a little bit of balls, a little bit of anxiety to jump into something, try something different, right? But at the end of the day, I think there's a big benefit to that. And, I want us on this channel to do more for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of us, we're in our cars, we're by ourselves. It can get lonely. There's, that's why these YouTube channels do so great, because it's relatable, right? We're communicating. We have a community here, right? But how long can it last? And a lot of people say, well, Pedro, a W-2 can go away any day. Man, this is right. A W-2 can go away. But you know what happens when you get fired from a W-2? You can claim unemployment. You've paid into certain things, Social Security. If you get hurt, disability. We don't have any of that, right? Just think about how long you're going to be doing this, how long you want to do this. Level up your money, level up your mind, level up your opportunities. Don't just do DoorDash, just Uber, just this. Have a plan and work your way towards that plan. It's the best I can say. Listen, that's all I got today. It's been a long day. I've had a great week. It's been a crazy time on YouTube for the last month. Shout out. We're at 62,000, almost 63,000. By tomorrow, 63,000 subscribers. I feel like we just hit 50K. Thank you for all the new subscribers, the new viewers. We're building this channel. Before you know it, I will have that plaque. My YouTube Silver Play 100K button will be behind me. And I never even thought about that, but now I'm thinking about it. Like, it's something that it's a goal of mine at this point, because I think that will be a nice, hey, look what we accomplished together. It'll be an accomplishment. Who doesn't? So almost 63,000 subscribers. Thank you guys very, very much. Very humbled by that. That you take your time and give me your comments and the views and the live. And listen, I'm humbled by it. I work really hard at this, give you guys content every single day, and you guys reward me by coming back and watching. So shout out to all the new subs. If you're in a new sub and you're watching this on a replay, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat if you're new here. Say something live. Scorpion, thanks, man. Yeah, crazy. 62,000. 100K, let's go. It's coming, man. It's coming. That's crazy. And I did it all with a phone. You know how crazy that is? It's nuts. All with a phone. I listen. And I got to give a shout out while I'm doing. It's Father's Day, so it's a family day. I got to shout out my pops. It's the OG Pedro, man. He's the OG Pedro. He's my hero. If I can become half the man my father is, I'd be great with that. I'd be a successful man in this world if I can do that. What he does for and what he has done for his family is amazing. And Madison. Shout out to my girl Madison. She allows me to do all the things that we can do here and the things that we will continue to do here, because she balances me and the family in a very well way, in a great way. So appreciate y'all. Listen, if you stay for the whole show, you guys are awesome. Love y'all. I'm going to go upstairs and spend time with said Madison. See you guys next week. I'll catch you on the video tomorrow. Final thought. Let's see. Just that. You can do more for yourself than anybody else can do for you. We're not victims. We're not slaves. Anybody that has that kind of mentality, don't come here. We don't do that. Peace.